The future of food isn't just about what's on your plate, it's about what's hiding inside it. From microscopic additives to substances that literally never break down in nature, scientists are warning that our diets may already carry invisible hazards. We'll count down 10 engineered foods that look innovative, even eco-friendly, but each one raises safety questions you deserve to know about before taking your next bite. Number 1. Cultured meat. You hear lab-grown meat, and you picture stainless steel labs, spotless gloves, and pure science feeding the world. The pitch sounds great. No slaughter, less land, less water. On paper, it's the perfect upgrade to old-fashioned farming. But here's the truth. Those cells don't grow in thin air. They rely on nutrient serums, chemical stabilizers, and scaffolds that help the tissue form. Many of these support agents have never been examined for what happens when you digest them. You're told it's just meat, but it's meat built through compounds more common in a medical lab than a kitchen. To keep cells alive, some scientists push them into immortalized growth. That means tweaking them so they divide forever. It sounds efficient, but it opens the door to mutations you'll never see listed on a package. Are you dining on food or on a living process frozen mid-experiment? That's the question regulators are wrestling with. Public debate is split. One side says this is the same as any steak, only cruelty-free. The other side sees it as closer to a medical implant than a farm animal. You're not told which additives survive in the final cutlet, and testing hasn't kept pace with production. Bottom line, when you eat engineered meat, you aren't just eating protein. You may be swallowing fragments of an experiment that science hasn't finished studying. Number 2. Insects on your plate. You're told crickets are the protein of the future, a clean swap for beef or chicken. They're praised as high in protein, packed with amino acids, and grown on far less land than water. That sounds efficient, even eco-friendly. But here's the truth. Insects soak up whatever's in their environment. Heavy metals, pesticides, and industrial residues build up in their small bodies at levels that don't show in traditional livestock the same way. You're eating not just a cricket, but the toxic footprint of the field or factory it lived in. And there's another catch. Some insect proteins closely mimic the same allergenic structures found in shellfish. That means if you're allergic to shrimp or crab, a powder made from crickets can trigger the same reaction. The risk is silent until it strikes. No clear label tells you when it's safe and when it isn't. The farming side adds more problems. Dense insect colonies make it nearly impossible to stop fungi or bacteria from spreading fast. Unlike cows or chickens, their small bodies give fewer warning signs. A single slip in climate control can lead to contamination moving across thousands of bugs in hours. Here's the kicker. Many edible insect species have never been studied for long-term health effects in humans. Bottom line, this eco-protein may save water and farmland, but it brings hidden pathogens, allergens, and toxins straight onto your plate. Number 3. Seaweed superfood. Seaweed snacks are sold as pure ocean wellness. They're wrapped in health claims. Low calorie, high mineral, packed with fiber. You're told they're a natural cleanser for the body, almost like a green filter straight from the sea. Here's the truth. What seaweed really filters is its environment. Just like a sponge soaks up everything in a sink, seaweed absorbs whatever's in the water around it. That means arsenic, mercury, and even microplastics lodge inside those glossy green sheets. When you chew through that crisp snack, you're taking in more than sea flavor. Then comes the iodine. Your thyroid relies on it, but in balance. Many seaweed types carry iodine in amounts that push the gland into overdrive. For seniors managing heart, blood pressure, or energy issues, that's not just a side effect. It can mean direct strain on health. And it's not consistent. One harvest from clean waters looks safe. The next batch from polluted shores loads up with contaminants. Seasonal changes swing mineral and toxin levels wildly. Yet there's no global standard tracking how seaweed is tested, stored, or labeled. So the Ocean Cleanse image doesn't match the reality. What looks like a clean snack can actually shuttle environmental residues straight into your body. Bottom line, eco-friendly doesn't always mean clean, especially when the ocean works as both pantry and dumping ground. Number 4. Engineered crops. You've heard of genetically modified crops sold as miracle foods. They resist insects, grow quickly, and promise higher yields with less pesticide. On the surface, it sounds like the fix to feed billions. But here's the truth. When you alter a plant's DNA, you don't just add one ability. You may also create hidden proteins, never tested in human digestion. Some of these proteins fold in ways that can resemble common allergens. That means a food once safe can now spark a reaction. You won't see that risk on the label. And here's the kicker. Certain edits are designed not to protect the crop, but to let it survive heavier herbicide use. The spray doesn't kill the plant, but the residue stays in the grain, the bean, or the oil. That residue follows into your body meal after meal. Unintended effects also happen inside the plant itself. Gene changes can silence normal pathways that help make vitamins or antioxidants. The crop survives, yes, but the nutrient value your body depends on shrinks. A tomato that resists worms might deliver fewer of the very compounds that protect your heart. Acceptance isn't universal. Some countries ban these foods over long-term safety gaps, while others embrace them with little warning. Bottom line, yields are higher, but invisible risks grow with them. Enhanced doesn't always mean safe. Sometimes it means eating in the shadows of what science hasn't yet explained. Number 5, synthetic foods. Imagine eating a strawberry flavor made not from fruit, but from molecules designed in a lab. That's synthetic food. Building taste, aroma, or nutrition by assembling compounds directly instead of farming them. It promises control, scale, and precision. But what you're actually swallowing isn't part of any food chain nature prepared your body for. Here's the truth. Some of these designer molecules are brand new to human digestion. Your body evolved to handle sugars, fats, and proteins, but not lab-built patterns never before on a plate. A short trial can show no immediate harm, but short trials don't reveal what steady intake does after years inside your gut, blood, or hormones. And here's the kicker. When these compounds are processed, heated, mixed, or stored, they don't always stay stable. Byproducts form. Some fragments mimic hormones, disrupt endocrine balance, or even carry carcinogenic traits. You aren't warned of that change because labeling laws treat them as nature identical, even when your body sees them as strangers. Think of it like swapping a puzzle piece that looks the same shape, but is cut from different material. It fits at first glance, but over time, wear and stress expose the mismatch. That's how these compounds can act once inside you. Bottom line, synthetic foods sit in a gray zone between chemical and cuisine. Buzzwords like identical and clean may cover the fact you're testing molecules evolution never trained you to eat. Number 6. Ultra-processed meat alternatives. Plant burgers look like the perfect swap for beef. They're sold as healthy, eco-friendly, and kind to animals. The packaging screams green choice, and you feel like you're doing right by your body and the planet. Here's the truth. These patties are not just beans and veggies pressed into shape. They often rank among the most processed foods in the store. To mimic meat, they rely on layers of binders, stabilizers, and emulsifiers. Those additives trick your tongue with texture, sizzle, and color. But inside your body, they strain digestion, feed the wrong gut bacteria, and stress an older microbiome already working harder with age. Think of it like building a wooden table, but instead of using solid planks, you use particle board, glue, and veneer. It looks sturdy on the outside, but most of what holds it together isn't wood. Meat alternatives often work the same way. Layers of parts, not whole foods. Each step in the factory strips away plants and replaces them with compounds designed to imitate meat. By the time it reaches you, very little resembles the grains or legumes it started from. And here's the kicker. Studies tie ultra-processed diets to higher risks of cancer, weight gain, and metabolic disease. That's not a fair trade for swapping beef. Bottom line, vegan doesn't automatically mean clean. A burger built from powders and additives is still ultra-processed food. Number 7. Vertical farming and hydroponics. Bright towers of lettuce look futuristic, stacked under glowing lights with not a speck of soil in sight. The picture looks clean, modern, and efficient. You're told this is the answer to crowded cities and vanishing farmland. Here's the truth. Hydroponic systems feed plants through liquid nutrient mixes. Every mineral is added by hand. If the formula is off even slightly, the crop loses balance. Too little calcium weakens leaves, too much nitrogen dilutes flavor. What looks like crisp produce may carry less nutrition than soil-grown greens. And studies raise another concern. Plants grown without soil can show lower levels of secondary compounds, the natural chemicals tied to antioxidant and anti-inflammatory benefits. On paper, you're still getting lettuce or herbs, but the subtle building blocks that help your immune system may be missing. For older adults counting on produce for strength, that's no small gap. Closed hydroponic loops also raise risks. Bacteria or fungi that slip into the solution don't stay in one leaf. They circulate across the whole tank. One hidden outbreak can reach the entire harvest before anyone sees spots or rot. Soil often acts like a natural filter, but water systems spread trouble fast when safeguards slip. And here's the kicker. Shiny rows of greens may look perfect, but perfect looks don't guarantee health. Bottom line, growing in water doesn't mean grown for your body. Number 8. Nano-ingredients. Nano-ingredients. You don't see them, you don't taste them, but they're already sliding into your food supply. These are particles engineered on a scale so small that a single strand of hair looks like a giant next to them. Here's the truth. Nanosilica makes powders flow better. Nano-titanium dioxide can brighten color. Silver particles act like preservatives. At this size, ingredients don't just stay put in your gut. They slip past barriers into your blood, organs, and even cross into your brain. And once there, scientists agree it's hard to know how long they stay or what they trigger. Think of it as dust compared to sand. Sand can irritate, but dust hangs in the air, sneaks through cracks, and lingers deep. Nanoparticles act the same way inside your cells. A compound considered safe in normal form isn't guaranteed safe when it's engineered hundreds of times smaller. Long-term studies aren't there. We don't know the buildup impact or how steady doses change hormone balance over years. Yet you will rarely see these additives named. Labels hide them under catch-all words like anti-caking, agents, or colors, and here's the kicker. Some countries already banned certain nano additives, citing early safety signals. Bottom line, eating these compounds is like volunteering in a trial you never signed up for. What you can't see on the label may turn out to be the biggest threat on your plate. Number 9, plastic ghosts. You think unprocessed food is safe, but what if I told you even plain seafood, salt, or bottled water can carry microplastics? Tiny shards of plastic already slip into foods you buy every week, no matter how fresh they look. Here's the truth. Microplastics come from broken bottles, packaging, fishing nets, even the air. Unlike sugar or salt, they never dissolve. They pass straight into your stomach, travel through your gut wall, and lodge in tissues and organs. Once inside, they don't leave. Early research shows they spark inflammation, just like grit rubbing in a wound. They also drive oxidative stress, a cellular imbalance linked to heart disease and faster aging. Add hormone disruption to the list, and you get risk stacked on risk without any warning sign from the food itself. And here's the kicker. These particles don't smell, they don't taste, and you can't rinse them away. A glass of water, a spoonful of sea salt, or a piece of salmon can carry fragments too small to see. You get no choice. The particles enter your body daily, whether you consent or not. Think of it like dust in your lungs. You never invited it, but it builds with every breath. Bottom line, you don't just throw away plastic, you eat it too. The plastic crisis isn't future tense. It's already inside you. Number 10, forever chemicals. PFAS are called forever chemicals for a reason. Once they enter your body, they don't break down. They stay in your blood, your organs, and your tissues for years. Unlike salt or sugar, you can't flush them out. Here's the truth. PFAS aren't just in factories, they are woven into everyday food contact items. That grease-resistant burger wrapper, the non-stick pan you cook breakfast on, even processing aids and packaging plants, they all use PFAS to keep food from sticking or soaking through. And the problem doesn't stop there. These chemicals leak out of those coatings into your meal. Tests have shown traces in fast food, in seafood pulled from polluted waters, even in the very drinking water you use to make coffee. You may never see or taste them, but the transfer happens all the same. The health costs are not small. Links connect PFAS to cancers, reduced fertility, immune suppression, and thyroid stress. These risks are heavier on older adults because your body holds on to PFAS for decades. Every exposure adds another layer of burden your system cannot shed. And here's the kicker. Regulators are scrambling to set limits, but contamination is already global. There is no corner of the food chain untouched. Bottom line, that simple burger wrapper or that shiny non-stick coating can set up a chemical footprint that follows you long after the meal is gone. PFAS make forever part of your diet. We've just counted 10 future foods packed with hidden dangers science hasn't fully resolved. Lab meat, insects, seaweed, even microplastics. They all show how the push for innovation often runs faster than safety. Here's the truth. Progress can save us, but speed can also leave blind spots. What looks eco-friendly or high-tech may carry gaps in testing, new allergens, or chemicals your body can't break down. Final thought. Don't focus only on what's on your plate. Ask what's inside it. Stay alert, because the hardest risks to spot are the ones you can't see. And you know what's not riskier subscribing to the channel. Make sure you do that as well.